Brakefield,
Here.
Barker,
Here.
Kraft,
Here.
Littlefield,
Here.
Darnell.
Here.
Okay. So we have everybody's, we're going to declare a quorum. So the next item is going to be oath of office to be administered to the three new members of our team. So we're going to have Stacy Barker, Kenny Littlefield, and Haley Darnell. You guys all go down
Want me
front.
down
for me.
front?
We're going to get you sworn in.
Just kind of have you stand here facing me. So I'm going to get to a point where I'll say I, and then you each state your name. And then when I get to the board committee seat, hopefully you know which seat you are, and you'll state your seat, okay? I'll try to go slow because you're going to have to repeat me. So I, you state your name,
Stacy Barker.
Haley Darnell.
do solemnly swear or affirm,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
yes, your right hand, sorry, your right hand, yes, thank you, that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Oklahoma
and the Constitution of the State of Oklahoma
and the Charter of the City of Pryor Creek, Oklahoma,
and the Charter of the City of Pryor Creek, Oklahoma,
that I will not knowingly
that I will not knowingly
receive,
receive
directly or indirectly,
directly or indirectly
any money or other valuable thing
any money or valuable thing
for the performance or non-performance
for the performance or non-performance
of any act or duty
of any act or duty
pertaining to my office
pertaining to my office
other than the compensation allowed by law.
other than the compensation allowed by law.
I further swear or affirm
I further swear or affirm
I will faithfully
I will faithfully
discharge my duties as
discharge my duties as
Board of Adjustment Committee seat
Board of Adjustment Committee seat
2,
2. I thought it was 2, so what am I?
5.
5.
Or you're 5, you're 2, so you're 2.
Okay.
Okay, thank you guys. You are sworn in. I do need signatures. Haley, let's see. Haley. Thank you, guys. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 3, discussion and possible action regarding appointing a new chairperson for the Board of Adjustment Committee. So we're open for any nominations. I will nominate myself.
There you go.
Hey,
And I didn't want to do that, but yeah, looking at 3 new.
I will second that.
All in favor, say aye.
hey.
All opposed, please.
All right.
Okay.
Welcome, Scott.
Oh, man. Okay. All right, so is my first official, sorry, okay. Public hearing, we're going to enter public hearing
Oh, wait a minute. We have number 4.
number 4. See? They not,
okay.
they picked me. Number 4,
And it's going to be an odd one, so I'll explain it when you read it.
discussion and possible action to approve minutes of January 5th, 2023 special meeting.
So we only have you and Brianna that were on the board at that time, so we can't take action on it. So you just have to state it as a no action, and we accept the minutes as they are.
Okay. So I say that we take no action. Do I have a second?
That's pretty much all we
Yeah,
do. We
you
don't
can
take a
move.
vote on it or anything. We just have to take them as they are.
Okay, take them as they are. All right, number 5, we're going to enter a public hearing at this time. Read the app.
Need a motion to enter.
I'll make a motion to enter public hearing.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Barker? This is to enter public hearing. I'm asking you to vote.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yes.
Kraft?
Yes.
Littlefield?
Yes.
Darnell?
Yes.
Brakefield?
Yes.
Okay, so we're in public hearing now.
Okay. Sorry,
Any-
where's he? Okay. All right, so this issue is Matthew Duke with Cherokee Nation is requesting on behalf of Margie Eglin a variant to replace the current house with a new modular 15 by 56 foot house. The current house is 576 square feet, and they want to replace it with an 840 square foot home. The lot is only 25 feet wide. This may qualify the lot as a non-conforming lot. Legal, the south 25 feet and of the north 50 of the lot 4 and 10 of street and block 24 of the original town of Pryor Creek, Oklahoma, also known as 114th North Taylor Street. So at this time, if we have any persons that are for, that would like to be heard, sir?
Yeah, so this house, the original house was built in 1940. Margie's lived in it for 30 years. It's a really small home. And as the Cherokee Nation, we're going to all of our elders that are speakers, and we're trying to get them in secure housing. So the easiest way that we saw that we could do it was come in and put in a new foundation and put a new house into the lot, but it doesn't have that full 25 foot of road frontage. So we're either putting a new house in there or we're remodeling the existing house. So we think that's the prettier, nicer option. This one gives her an extra bedroom and an extra shower in it. Makes it a 2-bedroom, 2-shower house with a nice open kitchen floor plan. And I've got any of that if y'all like to look at it, or kind of what the house floor plan looks like. I wasn't sure what y'all like to see as you're looking at this.
We'll do that at the next step.
Okay, that sounds real good.
Okay.
Did y'all have any questions about it at all?
Can't ask questions yet.
Okay. And hopefully y'all understood the difference in between a modular and a mobile home. The modular is built to IRC standards, just like any residential house. It's not a trailer house. It's got 2x6 walls and 2x8 floor joists in it. And we've talked to the neighbors. They were delighted to have it into the neighborhood. And I'm not sure if they're here or not, but they would probably speak out if they was against it.
Okay,
Thank you much.
all right, thank you. Anyone else for, sir?
I'm not just say I own the property adjacent to the south, and I was just saying everything I've seen on it, I have no objections to. So,
Okay.
you guys can put it in the record that I'm good with it, so.
Okay, so you're Wayne Jones, correct?
Yeah, I own Champion Collision and the empty lot next door.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else for the proposal? Anyone against the proposal? Okay, so we'll make a motion to exit the public hearing. Can I get a motion
I'll make that motion.
and a second?
Second.
Okay, so we are exited the public hearing.
I'll have to take a vote.
We have to take a vote?
I do. Barker?
Yes.
Kraft?
Yes?
Littlefield?
Yes.
Darnell?
Yes.
Brakefield?
Yes.
Okay. So number 6, now we're gonna have a discussion and possible action on a public hearing from Matthew Duke with Cherokee Nation on behalf of Margie Eglin, who is requesting a variant on the lot for building a larger house on 25th lot. Need a motion to have a discussion?
Motion.
Second?
Take it.
Okay, you can have your discussion, and then we'll take the vote at the end.
You said there were pictures and you had additional information, maybe?
I do have additional information. So here's a floor plan for what it looks like. It'll have on the front end of it, straight side, with a deck on it. It have a porch on the side of it with a handicap ramp over there. Margie's still able-bodied, but as we go to help the elders out, we try to make it looking into the future for them.
Correct.
That's what the house looks like. So this would have a deck on the front and a large porch on
Okay,
the front of it.
awesome. And I'll be honest with you, I did read that as more of a mobile home than a modular home, so I do apologize that I jumped to that conclusion
It's a tricky deal.
quite quickly.
I'll make that everywhere I go. Yes, sir.
How wide is the house gonna be again?
It'll be 15.
15 foot, and that's 25 foot right. So that
Mhm.
way we can still keep a 4 foot on each
Your
side.
side. Mhm.
And then a front setback and then 20% on the rear on that. Single story, no enclosed porch or nothing like that, correct? Okay. And you always wanna go with wall space instead of the slab?
Yes.
Was that just in case that creek floods?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Kenny?
So as long as you're above it.
I was gonna say, as the building inspector, do you have concerns with anything that,
Well, it's just a small
Space,
lot.
yeah, it
and
is a small
I understand
space.
why they want to. A year ago, I think they upgraded the electric service because it was in bad shape and stuff on it, so they're wanting to.
That's basically kind of the fittings that we do too. Number 4's on the top, 2 on the bottom, stirrups, stiles, fully grouted block. Yeah, being with the range near it, Margie tells me there's black snakes that come up there, so we're gonna seal it up so she doesn't have one right at the doorstep.
That's the main thing I was worried about and stuff on it, but as long as we still meet our setbacks and stuff on that, just in case somebody else ever builds.
Yeah.
For the chance of, if there was a house fire and stuff, we want that setbacks and stuff.
Kenny, one of the recommendations that Dale is making is that they reduce the side due to the size of the house. His recommendation of just a half a foot from 5 to 4 point, they have a copy of it.
So, that,
Yeah.
That's on Dale's recommendation and stuff. Like I say, what we will look at will be the setbacks, on, and all that. And so I know it's going to exceed probably the maximum coverage for that lot on there. And I imagine that's probably why Dale was recommending going smaller with it.
The smaller sides, just a smaller side setback is
Make
what
a
he's
quick
recommending.
Mayor, do you have input?
Well, I'm gonna help out our 3 new ones, because Kenny Young is our city inspector. Dale, that we're referring to, and it's in that letter that Scott's got here, Infrastructure Solutions. Dale is our, city engineer, and so he's making his recommendations for the lot size. The sides, instead of being the 5, will be 4.5. So they're asking you guys to approve that, like, that adjustment. But you can read Dale's recommendations there, and we talked to him. Cheryl and I talked to him right before the meeting, and he did not have any problems with.
Well, I also spoke with Wayne Jones, who we just spoke a few minutes ago. I spoke to him this afternoon, and he said that he did not have any problem with a 5-foot easement onto his property, onto that side. And I did not know how we could make that possible, if we could make that possible. And Mr. Jones approved that, then we could keep the original design. He said he was
That
a,
would be between the property owners, individually.
so what we would be doing is approving this recommendation.
You would still have to approve the recommendation, but then if they do go that route, that would,
So are you saying
Yeah.
a smaller width, like a 14-foot wide instead of a 15-foot wide?
So your setback on your sides means that you have to leave a certain area open on your sides. He's just reducing it so you don't have to have a full 5 feet. You'd have a little bit, a little extra room, 4.5, half a foot further on each side. And what he is saying that is this property owner has recommended that he would be willing to give an easement to the south. So that's an option you guys might want to look into. That's between property owners. This board can't approve that at all. That would be between you guys to that.
Okay, so the recommendation, does anybody have any other comment from up here, or question from up here? Okay, so The discussion from the item is the current house located on the premises is in very poor condition and is planned to be raised as part of a project. The replacement home is a modular 15 by 56 with a 4.5 setback on both north and south sides. The lot area is proposed as 4,000 square foot, including the 10-foot of vacant North Taylor Street. The applicant plans to maintain front and rear setback at code requirements. The request is made for the following variance and primarily due to prior lot configuration layouts long before current code criteria were established have created a hardship on the owners through no fault of their own. The A was reduced the side setbacks from 5 to 4.5 feet. And again, that can be worked out with Wayne. Reduce the gross lot area from 6,000 square feet to 4,000, and we would have to do that. We would have to be doing that. And reduce the minimum lot width from 50 to 25 feet. We'd probably keep the 25 feet as it is because Mr. Jones is not giving up the property. He's just allowing the trailer to be closer to his property than it needed to be in the first place. Recommendation: the proposed plan does not have an overhang roof eave proposed for the dwelling. The area has established utility service and no planned expansion of those services or quasi-public facilities are known that would require adherence to the established minimums. Staff recognizes the need for the reduction in order to allow the structure to be built. Both lots on either side of this site have more than 5 feet of side setbacks, so encroachment for emergency access would exist. Staff concurs with the allowance of the reduction in the setback from 5 to 4.5 feet on either side of the building. Dale's recommendation, the lot was split many years ago prior to the current building code guidelines. The existence of the current home on that lot, utility service to the lot, and no drainage issues observed during the closed nature of improvement allows staff to consider the findings of reduction if not allowed to present a hardship on the owner of the lot with no fault to the owner. The area does have other similar small house foot sites in surrounding areas which also establish such reduction land area reductions compatible with the neighborhood, meaning some of the housing properties are already smaller than the 6,000. So going to 4,000 would not be out of the norm for that area. The area does not have, let's see here. Staff can support the reduction in gross area from 6,000 to 4,000 square feet under the above conditions. Another recommendation and similar to nature in above, the non-compliant lot width exists under the current ownership. The continuation of allowing resident improvement to this lot appears to be only available option to the owner, as such improvements are likely to produce an overall improvement to the neighborhood aesthetics, continue to uphold the highest and best users for the property. Staff can support the variance and reducing the minimum lot width from 50 to 25 feet for this case. Staff recommends approval of the above variance and will work with the developer to adjust the formats prior to submittal and a detailed site building plan for the actual building permits. Are there any other questions or comments? Okay, so I will need a motion to approve.
And you'll need to make your motion to approve the wording.
So I would make a motion to approve the request with the changes based on the recommendations made by Dale Burke in his memorandum.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Was that you? Okay.
Sure.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, passes. So I need a motion to close the private hearing.
No, we already are out of that. You were in the discussion and you voted, so you're ready for number 7.
Okay. Item number 7, we're going to enter a public hearing.
I'll make a motion to enter public hearing.
A second?
Second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Jim Gable is requesting a variant to build an open carport outside of the building line on the north side of his garage. This will set the carport outside all setbacks on the property. Legal lot number 1 in block number 1 of Woodhaven, a subdivision in Mays County, state of Oklahoma, according to the official survey and plat filed thereof, address 1701 Woodhaven Lane. So is anybody here that is for? If you're for,
What do you need out of me? Just explain what I want to do?
explain what you want to do.
Okay, I have a,
Are you Jim?
Yeah, I'm Jim.
Okay.
I have a 3-car garage on my, it has one door on the side of it, and I have 3 classic cars I'd like to park in there. So I want to put a double door on the side facing 17th, I guess. And so I can get any vehicle out that I want without moving the other 2. And I'd like to build a slab there to go to the street. It's already an existing slab there anyway. That's what I want to do.
So do you actually?
And put a carport over it if I can. Out to the property line is what it would be.
Okay. Okay. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, on the back side, I want to put a storage building on the back side of the shop if I can.
Okay, that's not in this. So that would have to be another issue that you would have to
Okay.
make. Only thing we have right here is the garage thing, the portable garage.
Okay.
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 Anybody else for?
I just want to shed some light on that.
Okay.
His house was originally built back before it was taken in city limits and stuff, so that's why it's not meeting any of the required setbacks and stuff on it. So that's why they're seeking the variance and everything,
Okay.
so.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody here against the measure? Okay.
Okay, I'm Ray Sherman, I'm a neighbor, and first, have a beautiful home. I mean, it's immaculate, one of the nicest ones in Pryor. But we do have covenances and restrictions in our abstract that will not allow a carport. Again, it's a super nice little neighborhood. I don't know if y'all know what it is, and I did bring up our abstract if y'all have it in front of you. But number 14 on there, if you get a chance to read that, if you want to look at that, you can see we actually, back years ago when it was first put in, Jim Weaver put it in, and he made quite a few different regulations and covenances that we have to go by. One of them is a committee that has to approve any additions to any homes, especially on the front or the side. That committee consists of everybody that lives there. There's only 8 homes on that street, but it consists of everybody. And I think you can see there's quite a few here that really want to keep that neighborhood the way it is. Again, we want to be good neighbors, and they do have a beautiful home. It's just that the carport doesn't fit into our regulations. That would be the first step, I think, before even a variance would have to come to that committee. So,
Okay.
I don't know if anybody else would like to speak, but.
Okay. Thank you. Next person?
Well, I'm Rick Swafford, I live down in there, and I was one of the houses, the first houses to be built down in there. And these covenants was written up to protect us on the quality of home we was putting in there. And so we spent all this money writing up and these covenants and being able to get our homes built, knowing that in the future, someone couldn't come in and do something that would bring the neighborhood down or make the neighborhood maybe not look as presentable as it was when we built it. So I'm against it, and not only because of the covenants, but also because of me myself feeling like it would be an eyesore turning into my driveway to go to my house. So, I don't know how the rest of them feels about it, but I'm totally against it. And also, if he wants to come up and get a building put behind his house, the covenants is gonna also rule that out also, because there's no, in the covenants, there's no buildings can be built behind your house and behind your buildings. So, maybe that'll help him to see in the future on what he tries to do.
Okay, thank you.
Rick,
Yes.
are you allowed to put a storage building elsewhere on your property? We don't know anything about the covenants that you all have.
To me, you're not allowed to put anything on the property, unless you're, approved by the neighborhood. You have to have the majority of the people to sign off on it. And, as far as a storage building or something like that where you live, myself, I'd be against it. And I'm sure the other people would too, because to me, you coming into the property, it just don't fit. The carport just don't fit, our storage building just doesn't fit there. I'm sorry that this
Well, that's
doesn't work out.
That's fine. We didn't know anything about the covenants. But what about us putting a two-car garage door on that building with just like a little stoop over the top and a driveway to it? Would that be allowable?
I don't think so. I just don't think there'd be anything other than what, you have your home and you have a garage outside of your home. And to me, I think that's about as far as a person can go on it, to keep the lots looking like they should look. Building a bunch of buildings behind your house or carports on the side of it, I'm totally against it.
Could I
Okay,
say one
so
thing there?
if it relates to the covered, what you're requesting, then yes. If not, we need to do that at sidebar.
What we're proposing to do is actually gonna look better than it does now. It's got a hip roof on it. Our builder is gonna put a gable in on it, just like the two on the house. And it'll be cedar. It'll probably look better than it does now, because if you look at the building now, all you see is a brick side of a building. But when we get done, it's gonna actually look like a little house.
Myself, I can understand because I'm in that, I built, and so I understand what you're saying.
I'll show you the drawing that he's proposing.
Myself, without even seeing the drawing and bringing it that much out closer to the street, myself, I'd be against it.
Well,
That's just me.
could I show you this?
Can I make a recommendation that maybe you guys get together afterwards and get them a copy of the covenant?
Yeah.
And then you guys can discuss this part later, so you guys would have a copy of the covenant? Because we didn't know anything about a covenant.
Okay. Next person who is against? Sir?
I'm Randy Miller, and I live directly north of them. These are fantastic people, love them to death, they're good people. And what they're proposing, the wife and I had talked about that, it's just, when I step out my front door, here's this carport. A little bit over this way, but it's right here. And I didn't know a lot about these covenants until Jim introduced me to them and what have you. And, I just feel like we need to stick with the covenant and reject it.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's fine. I mean,
Yeah, what it is.
just ask it.
I know.
We'll find out.
Ma'am?
We need to get together and find out what we can and can't do, because we didn't know anything about that.
Right.
Good evening. I'm Judy Fozzie. I also live on the street. I'm down next to Rick. And, welcome to our neighborhood. I'm sorry. We have to. But, no.
What was your name?
Judy Fozzie. I'm
Okay.
in the house with the black awnings down at the other end.
Other side of mine?
Yeah, between Mike and Rick.
Sorry.
And I only have a couple things to say. Number one, the one thing I'm really concerned about is that I know you have a few cars because I've seen them in your garage, So obviously you want to park other things on this carport. And I just feel that this is gonna make our neighborhood look like a used car lot. Because there's gonna be so many cars there.
Go ahead.
But, I mean, I know, you know, that, but, I mean, we're, you know, that like, and it's gonna be too close to the street. Cause you have to go out so far, you know, and you're gonna be over your lot line. And because we have the creek there and everything, I just don't know how all this stuff, you know, it's too bad that you didn't know about this because all these covenants and everything, because, you know, that lot is really like one of the smallest lots on the whole street. And to do all that you wanna do there, it's just not, I don't think it's feasible.
We didn't, all we knew was that there was no, what do you call it,
HOA.
HOA,
Yeah.
so we didn't know there was a covenant for that.
Really, the
that
seller
was-
should have told you that, because when we moved in 20 years ago, we were given a copy of the covenants. So that was sort of lax on their part. So, I mean, that would have saved you a lot of time and thought. But that's all I have to say.
Okay.
Good luck, I'm sorry.
Anyone else against? Sir?
I'm Joe Bacon, 1712 South Marietta, and out my back door is one of the most beautiful views in town. Someone built a 6-foot white fence there, and that's on his property, but it does obstruct about 30% of my view. And then there's a shed that's there also that obstructs another 10%. And I'm afraid, looking back through there, that this would obstruct even more. In addition, collecting cars is fine, but a 3-car garage ought to be big enough for nearly anyone. And if you, have a collection of vehicles or anything else, then you're asking a lot to put up another building, it seems to me.
Anyone else against? Okay, I do have a letter that was submitted, and I'm gonna read it. My name is Lanny Rayner. My wife and I live at 1712 Woodhaven Lane. Because of preparation for a medical procedure I am having on Friday, I am unable to attend Thursday evening meeting. Offer to write this letter to state our position on the issue being presented. My wife and I would like to see the restriction stay in place as they are. Our concern is once you allow variations, it's easier for another one to be accepted. We recently moved into your neighborhood and would like for it to stay as it is. And it was signed.
I think we have somebody back here. You have something to say too?
Someone else? I'm done with this one.
I'm James Max Ho. I live at the corner of two of the busiest streets in town, it seems like, 17th and Van. I live at 300 Southeast 17th, the house with the white posts in the front and the Christmas tree year-round. I love cars. And Jim, you know I do. Yeah, I had a GTO. My concern is that when you come down that street, when you come down Van or you come down 17th and you see that corner, that view, as you were mentioning, is gorgeous. I hated to put a fence up in my yard. And the only reason I did was because of the dogs in the yard next to mine, the big dogs that bark every time they see you, and they don't always bring them in the house. Okay, so that's why we have a fence. I would take that down if that were all possible. That being said, I would have to agree that, and coming from Overland Park, Kansas, which is in Johnson County, Kansas, which is one of the most highly restrictive HOAs, probably next to Leawood, your fence pickets have to match. you cannot have carports. You can't park in your yard. You can't drive over the curb to park anywhere in your yard. You can't set all your collection out in your yard for other people to see. The HOAs and the covenants and the deeds of restrictions serve that purpose. And unfortunately, you weren't aware of it. I had to check when we bought our house to see what my slice of the neighborhood has. I don't want my neighborhood to turn into another Summerfield. Or, I'm sorry, not Summerfield. What's the street? Southridge? Is it? Yeah. I don't want my street to turn into a Southridge. That's, if you're aware of Southridge, then you'll know why. If we can retain the natural beauty as much as we can of that area, so much the better, even outside of the legal of what they have for covenants, then I would certainly appreciate it. And because my yard is right next to Jim's house, then I'd pretty much, it would be visible and noise-wise to what I'm already exposed to. I don't know if you guys have spent any time in that area at 17th and Van, but it's a racetrack, and it's noisy, and people drag race through there, burn their tires, race motorcycles, trucks, everything. It is very, very loud. Okay? We already have enough traffic. We already have enough cars, vehicles through there. Okay? So if we can help maintain or preserve what we do currently have in the green space, then I ask that you do it. Thank you.
Anybody else against? Okay. So we're going to exit the public hearing. I have a motion to exit the hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we're exiting. So now we're going to we're going to discuss the possible action for public hearing for Jim Gable, who's requesting a variance to build an open carport outside the building line of north side of his garage, which is outside the setback on the property. Anyone have any questions? Any comments?
I have a question. Legally, since they have a covenants, can we do anything since they have a HOA covenants in that property to let them?
That would be your decision to make that motion to,
So we can
That answer.
override what they,
So I think we could technically override. I think there is a legal action that could take place if they were to choose to build in spite of the covenant, even if we did grant the variance. I personally am not quite comfortable approving this at this time, not saying that maybe sometime in the future I wouldn't necessarily be in favor of it, but there is a clear covenant that does outline everything as far as the process for getting that approved, and even outlines the Architectural Control Committee and gives names. Now, I haven't heard from any of the individuals that are listed in the covenants as far as John Weaver or Jim Weaver, Jack, if I'm saying this right, Cackley. Yes, and so I don't know if successors have been appointed or what the process is for that.
Perpetuity, where it just continues every 2 years, and it's everybody that's there.
Okay.
Everybody. And just to clear one thing up, because we're talking about an HOA, there is not an HOA.
Okay.
Correct.
This is just an abstract with all of these written into the abstract.
And John Weaver was the builder.
And John
Yes.
Weaver is still alive.
Oh, he's
the
up?
son, the dad.
Oh, I think Jim's not, right?
And I can tell you, John Weaver is 100% of keeping the covenants the way they were, because I was with them when they written them up. When I built my home, I built a really, really big home, and I had to take that, after drawing all of it up, and majority of the people on the block and have them sign off on it, or I wouldn't have been able to even build the home that I built. So, and John Weaver is my best friend, so I'm 100% sure that, he would totally be against it.
Well, and I appreciate the information, and, you know, and I haven't heard from him directly, so I can't say that. And I'm not saying that if you guys did not present the information to everybody, as far as what your intent is, you could not get, you know, the support that you're asking for. But as far as my position at this time, being able to look at these covenants and see what has been placed in these covenants, I'm just not prepared yet to approve this variance.
So one thing, if you guys will in good faith, make sure that they get a copy of the covenant. When did you buy your house?
Just recently.
Okay.
We've been in there maybe less than a month.
Okay, the date of the covenant is 1987.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how long a precedence they have in their neighborhood. Okay, so if you will make sure that they get a copy of that, as good neighbors, we even have the copies, we can make a copy. I'm gonna read 2 of the 18 different points, just to let you know exactly the wording that I've been highlighted and what's been given to me, so you're aware of what is happening here, because you're hearing about a covenant, but you're not necessarily seeing the covenant. So number 9. Okay, so they're gonna make you a copy right now.
Thank you.
Okay. Number 9 of this, it says, no structure shall hereafter be moved onto any lot in the tract or addition, nor shall any structure, object, or vehicle, or portable type shall hereafter be placed in the yard or any lot, whereas to be obviously visible from the street. Okay, that's gonna be in direct to the garage, the overhang that you're looking at. Architectural control, it's number 14 that you'll see. No building shall be erected, placed, or altered on any lot until the building construction plans and location of a structure have been approved by the Architectural Control Committee as to be quality and workmanship of materials, harmony and external design with existing structures, and as to the location with respect to the topography and finished grade of elevation. Furthermore, no change to any lot shall hereafter be made that would substantially alter the appearance of any lot without the written approval of the Architectural Control Committee. Which means you would get your pictures or your plans that what you're wanting to do, and I would first go to your committee for your neighborhood, present them to them, find out, you know, what they request or what they want you to do.
Who's in charge of that? All of them. Just to any of you then, not one particular person?
No, we have to all vote on it. You have to have a majority vote of the neighborhood to do it.
Okay.
So if one of them volunteers to help facilitate, then that would be great. Otherwise, you have 8 neighbors or 7 neighbors in your 8 area, in your 8 houses that you can go to. Anybody have any other comments?
You guys seem like such a good neighborhood, such good neighbors, and I agree with you. I do. I think that the degradation of a carport is not okay. We see that a lot in Oklahoma, or in Pryor, most in particular. I realize the value of the aesthetics. It looks like I'm not familiar with the neighborhood, but it looks like a really nice neighborhood. But what you said earlier, you know, I would recommend that you do get together with your neighbors. It sounds like you might have a plan that they might approve of, and they seem like good people, and you could get together and see if there's something that could be worked out. I mean, I don't know, but that would be my suggestion.
Okay. So I am going to need a motion either for or against.
So at this time, I'll make a motion to actually deny the variance at this time.
Second that.
Okay. So do we need to take a vote on that?
I think I'll take a vote, yes. Littlefield, this is to deny.
Yes.
Darnell,
Yes.
Brakefield,
Yes.
Barker,
Yes.
Kraft.
Yes. So the measure has been denied at this time. Okay. Thank you.
If you guys could just take it on out to the hallway.
Can y'all, we're not done?
Him?
Jim,
I think
can
I
you
got all my
take it
stuff
on out?
mixed
We're-
up. I'm pretty sure we do.
You could go on out.
Hey, this is totally one,
Have a barbecue and invite your,
we don't have that.
Oh, my goodness.
Alright, so it's this one.
okay, so now we're going to open a public hearing. The next public hearing, number 9. I need a motion to open a public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. We're entering public hearing. Applicant Tyler Ragsdale is requesting a variance on the lot with footage. He has 245 foot and AG requires 330 feet. He's also requesting a variant on the minimum lot area. He currently has 4.97 acres and the AG requirement is 5 acres. Legal attractive land being part of the southeast quarter of southwest quarter, southeast 1/4, southwest 1/4 of Section 9, Township 21, North Range 19, east of Indian Base and Meridian, Mays County, State of Oklahoma, more particularly described as the following to wit. Begin at the southwest corner of southeast 1/4 of the southwest 1/4, thence north 130-40 degrees west along the east line of southeast 1/4 of the southwest, distance of 881.13 feet to a half-inch iron pin. Then south 88 degrees by 35 and 6 west a distance of 245.75 feet to a half-inch iron pin. Then south 1 degree 31.41 east, a distance of 881 feet to a mag nail on the south line of the southeast 4th and the southwest, thence north 88 degrees 35 by 20 east and distance of 245.75 feet to the point of beginning. Address 2907 Northeast 1st.
2309.
2309, sorry. Is anybody here for? Sir?
Is this what we're doing right here?
I don't know if you guys have, I've done a plat, and I got house plans as well. I don't know if you guys wanna look at it or not, but, so I live in Brassfield Estates currently, it's just down the road, kind of by the cemetery. I bought this 5 acres, I plan on building a shop possibly later, but, building a personal home for me and my wife, 2 sons, born and raised here. I got a couple of hot rods, razors, stuff like that. I can't build a shop where I'm at right now, so I bought this 5 acres. I wasn't aware, I guess, of the road frontage. I did know about the 5 acres, but when I bought the property, everything showed 5 acres. When I done the plat, with Green Country Surveying, I was at 4.97, so, I'm a little off there, but the road frontage, but I don't believe I'm changing the, character of that area. Everything, here's just something I printed off the Mays County Assessor. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the area, but, so I've got my property on there, which is 4.97 acres. All the houses to the east there, most of them are residential houses on 10 acres, a lot of them. There is one on the corner that's still in the city limits, and it's only 2 acres. So that's quite a bit less than mine. I mean, it's less than half, right? So I think I'm still not too bad in that area, I would say. But I'm not changing the character of anything, so I'm just asking to build a personal residence on that 4.97 acres. I guess that's all I got as far as what I'm asking.
Okay. Kenny, you got something?
Yes, I was gonna say, about getting enough for the frontage and stuff to meet the requirements, and he didn't wanna sell or something, I can't remember
He
what
would
you
only
said.
sell like 10 to 20 acre lots or acres of his land, and he's wanting 15 to 20,000 acres, so I only need
Yeah,
0.3.
he was, well,
.03.
to make the 330 foot there,
Yeah.
which is like 85 more feet, he tried to do it and the landowner wouldn't do it, so I don't know if the landowner is only gonna sell it in what
would only
he has there now, and so I don't know, maybe in the future we'll have other ones of these where they're not meeting that, which to me, that landowner needs to change that to meet the requirements. But originally, this lot was gonna have a commercial building on it, that's why it met everything there. But when Tyler wants to build a house on it, that's where the ag setbacks and requirements all came into play on there, so. And he tried to do right and get it, but just unable to.
He
do it.
did go to the planning and zoning and have the zone changed back to ag. That allowed him to be able to put the house on it. It just kind of changed the requirements for the house in the ag.
So by fixing one thing,
Because he couldn't build a house in the commercial zone that it currently was. He bought the house not knowing, or bought the lot not knowing that, basically.
okay. So, don't move. I'm gonna see if we can go out of public hearing.
Did you have anything for this one?
No, I'm just watching.
Okay, thank you.
I need a motion to go out of public hearing.
I'll make the motion to go out of public hearing.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so now we're in the discussion and possible action, public hearing for Tyler Ragsdale's 2 variances to build his house on the property, which needs a frontage variance and a variance for the 5-acre footage requirement. So we're going from 245 feet to what changed between the 245 feet requirement to the 330-foot requirement?
The ag to build a house requires the 330 foot frontage on it.
So did you buy the property for the house, or did you buy it for a structure other than a house?
I bought it for my residential house, so me and my wife are wanting to build, I mean, I got my house plans right here, if you wanna see them, but.
So Kenny, what process should we have gone through when he went to buy this land in order to build a house on it?
Well, the thing originally started, can't remember the gentleman's name, but he had a heat and air shop right across the street. He was gonna build storage buildings there, and that's how it got originally changed from ag to commercial, because the commercial requirements was narrower, and being it wasn't a residential gonna be there, he could do that. And when Tyler bought it, he wants to build a beautiful house with a big garage and everything like that. But the requirements for ag to build a house, that's where we come in, has to be the minimum of 5 acres plus the 330 foot, frontage on it.
So I can say the planning and zoning chair looked at this property with Tyler and looked at what would be the best option for him to do to be able to, I mean, he owns it, bought it, hoping he could build this house on it. So the planning and zoning chair looked at it and recommended to Tyler, "Hey, let's look at going back to ag, which gives you the option to build a house, but you're gonna have to ask for a variance to do it." So they've approved him going back to ag, knowing that he's gonna have to get this variance.
And we can't spot zone it, we couldn't put it, make it a residential.
Right, we
because
couldn't.
There was no
Residential
residential
around
around
it.
that.
Yeah, so the only option was to go back to ag, but it doesn't meet the 5 acres ag requires, and it,
By .03.
right, by a little bit of footage, and it affects his lot width by, what, less than 50, well, a little over 50 feet, yeah. Yeah,
Well, he's got the depth. He just doesn't have
Right.
he's 75% of the width.
yeah. Close,
So,
yeah.
So are there other lots next to yours and everything else, correct? 5 acre
Sounded
lots
like
all
you
the
were
way.
tempted to try and buy
There's
from
some-
them.
It don't say it just got this, I didn't know if there was more.
Yeah, there's
Nothing
some,
to the west of his.
each one of these are like 10 acres.
But through here
That's open land that a guy bought.
and through here,
Yes. No, this is open land that a guy bought. He's building his personal residence right here as well. So,
okay.
so these are all just residential homes and then what they're gonna be. But there's also one right here that's 2 acres.
Yeah,
So it sounds like you've done what you were supposed to as
But
far
these are
as
all 330, right?
making the attempts
Or they
to
should be 330.
buy.
Here.
Yeah.
This here,
I guess I
this,
kinda got
why,
the
why
vines
this was
that-
laid out, this was what we were told
I
as
just
a
thought
family
more
member
than
that built that
5
house
acres,
there.
or it's 5 acres.
This
that's
family
what-
member, since it was over 10 acres, which more than adequate for ag,
yeah,
donated this for him to build there. And, but these over here are his lots, what kind, as you can see, they're just shorter.
right.
You know, if it was as long, he would nail it all the way, other than the
The
width.
width, yeah.
That's
Just
where
the
the
width.
problem comes in on it. So,
I,
it's just like I say, a little bit short on acreage, but the width part is the big problem.
I mean, at this point, I think it's merely the shape of the lot that's preventing us from getting the footage, and you're 0.03 acres away from having the 5 acre minimum. I mean, I'm prepared to make a motion to approve the variance at this point if there's no
Yes.
other discussion.
I'll second that.
But we just want you to be aware that odds are, he's probably gonna sell the rest of these the same way.
The same way, so we're gonna keep going back to this.
Yeah.
Well,
I did let the guy know. I said, if you sell any more, you're gonna have to meet this requirement. So he does know now that.
But like Tyler did go to try and ask him about getting it so that he could meet the 330 feet, you know, frontage.
He wanted to sell all
He just
40
wanted
some
to sell
acres.
so much more than what he needed, so.
I didn't wanna spend
good, so,
extra $400,000 to get.
So when you make your
1 acre.
motion, you'll need to tell me the two variances, because there's two.
so, do you know who owns this property?
I do not know.
Longmire is the last name. I don't know.
Because I think we need to figure out how to get this person here, this landowner. If we know that, if in fact he is wanting to develop his land, he needs to know to go back and do this, not commercial. Because they could, in good faith, buy a property.
Right.
And then come in here and we deny, and he's got an expensive piece of property that he purchased, but we're doing it based on the ordinance that is passed at the current time, correct?
Yes, that's what we're going by, is what ag, so that he could build a house, because we couldn't do spot zoning for
Right.
residential. You know,
Okay.
if there was residential around there, touching,
You could do
we
it.
could do the residential and he'd be fine. He had more than that. But the way ag comes up, and it's just, that's all ag across there, or commercial, and that's what messed him up as far as building a house.
Because theoretical, we could be coming here for each lot, or they could be coming,
That's what I'm scared of, that
Yeah.
could happen, and like I say, hopefully the owner of the rest of this will make it 330 feet plus, you know, which will be more than the 5 acres if he goes all the way to here.
right.
Which last I talked to him, he didn't wanna sell anything besides.
But you don't know what's gonna happen
Yeah.
3, 6, 9, 12 months down the road. You know, he could say, oh, or if, God save, something happens to him and his family takes it over.
But
You know what I
did
mean?
let- I
It's-
did let him know, though, that you have to have 330 moving on, so that's why I tried to convince him, hey, you kind of put me in a bind, but he still wouldn't do anything, so.
And there's nothing we can do to inform him to make sure when he sells this, or?
Hopefully, if anybody's looking at buying it, they would call in first and ask, but,
Which me being
but
a
you don't
neighbor
know.
there, if I get this right, I could tell him, hey.
Yeah,
Well, they can't actually zone this as residential without having the
No.
330 feet, right?
they can't zone it residential unless
They can't do it at all.
They'd have to plat it. They'd have to plat the whole thing to get it to do that.
Because this was actually gonna be was not gonna be residential, that's how it slipped through.
It's zoned commercial right now, right?
No, it's,
No.
he got his zone back to ag.
He
Okay.
fixed it.
No, your piece, but the neighbor's piece that we're talking
No.
about, is it zoned
It's
ag?
Ag, it's all ag, yeah.
Okay. So for him, for his,
The only way that the one got zoned commercially in the beginning
were
was
going
because
to
it was across
build.
the street,
Okay.
commercial.
so the way it is now, if he tried to sell it, as ag, he would have to do the 330 feet.
Right, him or anybody,
Future.
the future?
The future person, because he's got it as residential. So he would have to meet code.
No, it's all ag.
It's all ag.
It's all ag.
There is no residential.
To
Okay.
the west of
Yeah.
Tyler's Park.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
all ag.
Okay.
Yeah, this is all ag.
Okay.
As far as.
So ideally, the guy needs to sell them as 5-acre lots.
Is what
330.
currently.
With 330-foot frontage, yeah.
Okay. All right, so any other
Good with it.
questions, comments?
No, good now.
Okay, so I need a motion to,
I previously made a motion, but I'll amend it to include both variances of the 245.75 footage, and then also adding the 4.97 acres.
okay, do I have a second?
A second.
We're
You
gonna,
did it first, I'll take Stacy.
let's go ahead and vote on this.
Okay. Brakefield,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Kraft,
Yes?
Littlefield,
Yes.
Darnell.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Number 11.
Scott and Stacy.
So I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
I think he was wanting a motion.
Oh,
I need a
I'll make
motion, sorry. I'm used to sitting over there.
Yeah.
I need a motion.
You can make the motion.
I'll make it.
All right, second, all in favor say aye. All opposed, don't want to stay here? Okay. We are adjourned.
Got it.
Thank you.
Thank you.